Well, I just got the inspiration for this video due to the fact that I just had to witness. It was a trial student for the company I work for. I leave that nameless. I teach ESL online, by the way, with a Chinese company, and it happens probably about once a year. You'll see some kind of, I don't want to call it domestic violence because I don't want to be like one of those people that said like there's never an appropriate time to spank your children. I don't think there's an appropriate time to beat your children ever, and that's what I just had to listen to. What was happening was the boy was refusing to participate in the class, and so his father dragged him arm in front of me, and I didn't see it, but I can hear, you know, the violence and all the commotion, and which is great, because it's like the classes are only 25 minutes long, so you can't freaking wait 25 minutes to beat your kids afterwards. That'd be great. If I didn't have to watch that shit. But anyways, this just kind of triggered me because it's like I think back to my time as a Jehovah's Witness growing up. Now myself, I've been spanked less than 10 times easy. I wasn't a problem child and I didn't really get into too much trouble. Typically speaking, I got in trouble once for something and I never did it again. Um, and I've been told this is pretty typical of ENPs because of SI inferior, a fear of the past and, prior things happening. So we typically learn the hard way, but we learn it for good. Um, but in the Jehovah's Witness Kingdom Hall, children, I mean, as young as 2 years of old, getting beat in the bathroom or taken outside to be beat was pretty common, and I grew up with it thinking that was completely normal. I remember comments, at the Watchtower study or the book study where people would raise their hands and endorse, corporal punishment for raising children. And I'm not one. I don't have kids, and so I don't really touch on these subjects because I don't really have freedom to speak in much of that. I know there's conflicting studies about the usage of it, and definitely I think since we're all mostly in the typology on my channel, I think it definitely is more effective for SI users than it is for SE users because my SP brothers and people like them would get beat over and over again and it did no good because my father, that's what he believed in. But with me, for instance, it only happened once and I never got it, or I did it behind his back and he never caught me. And so my dad grew up, Southern Baptist and then became a Jehovah's Witness, and so that just was really ingrained. He grew up in a farming community. My mother was also a farmer's daughter too, and so that's just kind of how they're both 79 this year, and so it's a different generation. Um, However, like I said, I learned once and not. But witnesses, on the other hand, have changed their tune and their literature, and now they kind of no longer endorse it. They don't reject it outright, but they don't endorse it anymore. And so many people will say, well, what does it matter? Lots of people have changed their ways. Well, it's a different story now because Jehovah's Witnesses claim that Jesus has been influencing their literature since 1919. Okay. So if Jesus and Jehovah were influencing it through Holy Spirit for you to write down your nonsense, they should have, a loving God or whatever like that probably would have rejected it, or it's still okay. Okay, now if we're to go with the scriptures, it clearly is okay because it's clearly endorsed in many scriptures to use rods and sticks and things like that, even to kill your own children if they are disobedient to you. Uh, which is mentioned many times, whether via stoning or just, death in general. This is also mentioned in the Greek scriptures. And so it's interesting when people change their tune on this kind of stuff. Well, anyways, I don't know what I'm really going with this story. Uh, it was just, I wanted something to talk about it, and it's the middle of the night and I'm tired, and so I don't have the one to talk to about it. But yeah, it's a frustrating thing, and there's nothing I can do. It's clearly okay in China, and they think us American teachers are crazy for thinking it's something wrong with beating your kids, and so there's nothing really I can do. It's not like it I mean, as a teacher, you kind of have to deal with children that get abused by their parents. whether emotionally, verbally, and things like that, just comes with the grade. Because you can't obviously raise other people's children, and I don't want to. I respect the right for any parent to raise their children the way they see fit. Granted, abuse is abuse, but then there's where's the line, and so it's really hard to even justify or any kind of mandate on that kind of stuff. Yeah, so it's not like I can call up like social services or anything like that in China. There's nothing I can do about it. It's just something I have to witness. And from videos I've seen in the teacher community, this is not even close to the worst one I've heard of. I've seen literal like thrown across the room, stuff like that. And so it's a shame the world's the way it is in a lot of ways. Granted, it is less violent now than it was in the past. And so, as much bad stuff as you see, you can argue police brutality, murders, and things like that, or wars and stuff like that. Compared to the past, we've come a long, long ways as a human race, and the world is definitely a lot less violent, and life is a lot better. So always remember that.